headphones for them. Why don't you have them on and enjoy it?
No way,
Enjoy
this is so unfair.
No, it's not unfair. I was going to do it, so I'm more selfish than you.
No,
if you
on.
aren't going to do it, I'll do it. So you should do it. Okay. Okay, so it's recording.
Should I also put in my headphones and fake it? Because it doesn't matter.
No, that's weird. That's weird, we're not faking it. The rabbi just texted me. Okay.
No,
I haven't.
I think
No, come on, just wear it though. Why not? Why?
Because I think it's nice.
It's fun. You've never done a podcast before.
All right.
It's fun for you. I haven't done this in so long that I forget like how much equipment is needed.
It's 9:54.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna blabber on a lot. So
Has it started?
Yeah, we're recording on here the what do you even call it? Your voice, and then here's the camera.
Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous. I just like want to get it started because it's nearly 10 p.m. and we need to go to bed.
Where do we look?
Oh, that's such a good point. Let's look at the camera and each other.
Just right there.
Yeah, just look at the camera.
All right. Hello?
Hello. So, Jacob, welcome to the vlog.
Oh, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have
I
you.
hope I can come more often.
You can definitely come more often. I'll invite you more. So, this video, we wanted to talk about our relationship, how we met.
Sorry, can I just ask something?
Yeah.
When I drink something, will it be like ASMR?
Can you, basically everything you can hear on the headphones is what
So
people will hear.
like...
Yeah, so don't do that.
Okay.
Don't stop with the saliva. And it's actually really funny we're recording this video because I remember like during our relationship, take it seriously, I remember during our relationship and you were saying, oh, will we ever do a podcast?
That
do you
was
remember?
like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and in my mind I was like, no, we'll never do one. Because I just didn't feel like it was right.
Can I just stop and say, doesn't she look so nice with her mascara?
He's saying that because I went and purposely put on mascara
She
to
looks
record
so
this
good.
video. Thanks, babe. But yeah, now here we are recording a video.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels quite natural. I think in the beginning I was like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be like. But Mila's going to wake up in like a few hours. I don't care.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, maybe you don't care because like we're exhausted and like
Yeah.
parent life.
We just finished, I just finished a work day and we quickly had dinner. We had pilmeni for dinner. And I'm just like aware that she's going to wake up soon.
She's going to wake up. Okay, so we'll move forward. So I thought how we could do this video and podcast is us telling a brief overview of the story about like how we met, how we knew we were in love, any red flags, when you first said I love you. I just kind of spoiled that, but like Jacob first said I love you. Just it like sweet things.
Which version?
Exactly.
No.
Just the story, and then if there's anything that you feel like we've left out, we can do like questions.
Okay, where should we start?
From the beginning, chapter
2021.
2021. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I was a bit of a loser starting in 2021.
What do you mean was?
So my friend and I, so background context for this is that I actually spent COVID 2020 and 2021 here in Nice, in my parents' place where we are now. And I had a friend who had like lived down in the city center, and we're both working for the same company, both kind of lonely and just like being sad about each other and just like
about each other. This is so depressing, but yeah, good, yeah.
But like we didn't have any partners in our life. And then there was a time like come around spring where we just like went for like one of those social distance walk or whatever. We were like, okay, something has to change. And at the time she had found someone and she'd moved back to London. That's where we're both living at the time. She'd moved back to London and started dating her partner. And I had also, my brothers, they had partners and I think they were in London as well. And it was just me being like a single person. So I decided after having spoken to her, I was like, I'm done being a loser. time to get my shit together. And the context behind this is that I was on the dating apps, but I wasn't actually like engaging and actually participating in them and like basically pulling my weight.
Were you talking to people though?
Like scrolling and stuff, but I was like, fuck this. Like I'm in Nice. What's the point?
Right,
you know?
fine. So were they all French girls?
No, it was London.
Oh, okay, right. So your location was London, but you were here.
Yes.
This is new information to me, by the way. We've never spoken about this before.
But again, like nothing happened. Like,
yeah.
It was all like I wasn't pulling my weight or whatever. And so in the end, I think I had flown to London, and we had matched either when I had already been in London, and it was like the first few days when I arrived, and we matched. And you actually messaged me first, and this was on Hinge. And it was such a bold message. We should screenshot it and show people.
Yeah, if you're watching on video, we'll put in the screenshot here.
Yeah, it was something like, Molly was like, "Oh, Jacob,
you're handsome,"
or something like that, and like, tell me about yourself or who you are. Basically, there was some sort of like bait, and I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna respond. Let's do this." So I responded, and I was like, "Hey, la la la." I don't actually remember our chat, but we can share the screenshot because it's quite funny. It's very short and quick. And I remember at the time I was like, fuck it, like I have to be serious. I came to London, like stop like bullshitting around. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like ask you out on a date. Like we should meet up.
And was I your second Hinge date?
Second
ever?
or third or something like that. It was basically the first few numbers.
Okay, fine.
The single digits.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends can attest to this. She was like, why the fuck are you not like on there? Just like get your shit together. And I was like, I don't know, maybe some people have this. Maybe actually quite a few people have this. We have some friends now that are just like tired of
dating, going on apps,
dating, scrolling, having fake conversations, and just like.
But it's interesting because it's not like you had been on Hinge for ages and had been speaking to loads of people and like were jaded.
No, but do you know what? It was the stories from other people that was like, fuck it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, what's the point of doing and going on a date here and there? Like,
oh, interesting. So
like
you were already unenchanted with it by the time you started. You were already like, oh, CBA.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because it is an effort, right?
It's a huge effort, yeah.
And you like have to, if you're doing it, you're doing it. I have a friend. I'm not gonna. Can we bring up people's friends?
Don't say their names. No.
Okay.
Cool. Give fake names.
I have a friend called Peter. And Peter, he subscribes to Hinge, and he subscribes to the premium function. And I don't want to call him desperate or anything. So Peter, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
I feel so bad for Peter. I know exactly who this is. Yeah.
So Peter has, and he like super likes, and I don't know if Hinge has this like super flowers or whatever. You know when you can send someone like an extra message.
Yeah.
Back in university days, I know Tinder had like a super like.
Hinge did have a super like feature when we were on that, yeah.
Okay, so anyways, I talked to him, and this is Peter now. I talked to him about it, and he's always out of them.
Yeah, same as with Janice, my best friend.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We'll have to remember to use Peter and Janice.
Yeah, I will.
And then we need to bring them on the pod because we tried to hook them up.
It would never work. It would never work. Anyway, we divulged.
So anyways, we messaged each other,
yeah.
And I was like, damn, she's so bold, like in her like messages or whatever. And I remember I wrote something like, hey, let's just try it and like go and meet up. And you want to take it from here?
Sure. So can I just say before I take it from here, it's really interesting to me that you were skeptical on it because you are such a catch. Like you're such a, you know, I'm not just saying this because, well, obviously I'm biased. Like in my eyes, you're like literally, I know we're married, yeah, I have to say this. No, but you are literally perfect in every way, you know? So the idea, you just went into it. Yeah, fair. You CBA'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I was not new to the dating scene, considering I had a dating podcast.
There's a podcast about
There's a podcast about dating.
Go back a few series, everybody, if you're new to here.
Yeah. And so I was like dating, I wouldn't say aggressively, but it was definitely like something I would do at least couple of weeks, like go on a date with someone. Probably that every few weeks maybe, until like I met somebody who I liked, and then I'd see them for like a period of time, and then I'd like go on a cooling off period, and then I'd probably go back on Hinge. And I remember this is new context for you as well. So I had ended it with somebody probably like, well, we had ended it, kind of I ended it, whatever, like probably 2 months before I met you or 3 months before I met you. And then I was like, I'm not going on Hinge. I was like, I'm not doing this. I was one of those people where I was just like, I'm not going to be on here. I am just going to meet someone in real life, like CBA for this. It's such an effort. Like every time you go, you have to like bring your energy, and like I'm already an outgoing person, and then doing that was just like it was just exhausting.
Like
yeah, you're like performing, and you're like, I don't even know
care about your like history when you're like, who are you, what's your background?
Yeah, and just the effort if you go on a date and you don't like someone. I was just like, I'm not doing this. And so I wasn't doing it, and then like that time passed and I was really bored. I was just like, I think I was working or something, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna download it and just see. So I remember I was at my dad's flat and I downloaded it, and you were like one of the first few people that came up on there. And I remember scrolling on your profile and thinking like, you were really good looking. You your prompts were like quite dry, like you didn't really give anything.
I'm not good with that shit.
Yeah, so I was like,
I'm not good with that stuff.
That didn't really give me anything, but I didn't judge you for it. I was just like, okay.
I'm inclined to find it because I have it. Janice sent it to us in a group chat.
You can find it while I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, okay, that doesn't give anything away. Then I saw one photo of you in Israel, and so I was automatically like into that. I was like, oh, great. He's probably Jewish, or you've been to Israel.
I think I wrote I was Jewish.
No, you didn't. But your name was Jacob. But Jacob's name is spelled with a K. So I assumed you pronounced it Jakob.
Jakob.
So I was like, I like that about you, that you weren't English. Like you had a little bit of like flavor with the K instead of the C. I was into that.
A special K.
Special K. And you had popcorn in your profile. And
you love popcorn.
At that time, I literally only ate popcorn every night for dinner. So that was like automatically like like connected to
Green
you.
Flag.
You did have one photo in there as well that Jacob had this photo of him wearing like a red Hawaiian shirt, red leather shoes, and a red car. And I sent his profile to Janice.
Yeah.
And I was like, couldn't quite grasp you because I was like, you're really good looking, you seem really friendly, you're smiling in like all your photos.
Am I joking?
No, I was like, are you really lame? Like I was like, what is this photo?
That's actually the truth is I'm really lame.
But I love you. We're both lame. We're both lame.
Okay,
no, you're just really yourself, which I love.
Okay.
Which I love.
Okay.
And I sent it to Janice, and she had really good insight. She was like, I think he's really just a nice guy,
okay,
and that's why he has this lame photo.
I want to see the photo now.
I'll show it to you.
Actually, I know the photo. It's with the Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dope photo.
We'll insert the photo.
Oh,
if you think it's a dope photo, let us know.
That's
No, but I did like it about you, by the way. Like, I think my like judgmental.
Okay,
no, I'm being honest. Like, I think my judgmental perception of like when I've grown up, like just being judgmental from like social circles and stuff, and just like the way I was brought up, and being judgmental.
North London vibes.
Yeah. I think I would have seen that and be like, oh, that's a lame photo. But then I was reflecting on it, and I was like, oh, he does just seem like a really nice, like you seem like genuinely yourself, and you're not ashamed of that.
I thought that was a cool photo.
It was, yeah.
Let's leave it to the audience to tell us what they think.
I remember what one of your prompts were, and it's in line with why I also fell in love with you.
Oh.
One of your prompts was that you've never smoked a cigarette.
Yes.
And that's surface level stuff. Like, I don't care that you've never smoked a cigarette, but the thing that I was drawn to you about was that you were so public, and you didn't care about like not being the standard like cool of like having.
But isn't that
smoked.
also self-selection? Like, I think in some ways, putting out that I don't smoke cigarettes. Maybe I'm also showing other people that I'm like, hey, I don't want a smoker in my life.
Yeah, true. I didn't. Oh, is that why you did it?
I think probably. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Because isn't there a thing on Hinge where you can like not a smoker?
Yeah, you can say you don't smoke.
That's a separate topic, but I think smoking is like anyways,
different conversation.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
I think smoking is bad.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Jacob thinks smoking is bad. So then you came up, I really liked your profile. I sent you a message like straight away saying, Jacob, you're really handsome or something. And I remember like actively thinking about you and like hoping that you would reply.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I remember going to the toilet and thinking about you and being like, I hope he replies. Like,
this is in the Southampton flat.
Yes, when I was living half with Janice and half with my dad. And I was thinking that you seemed like a really nice guy.
Do you know what? My first impressions of you, having had that maybe first few chats on Hinge, obviously I did some background research.
Yeah.
I had discovered first, I like obviously saw your profile and I was like, oh, she's really good looking and stuff.
And then, hilarious and funny.
Yeah, and you had like a photo of like a talk show competition.
Oh, I was on a game show once.
Game show competition. I was like, oh,
show.
she looks like very like active and fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had researched you and I saw Progress Pure, and then I like started looking at the Instagram that was public.
But how did you Google me? Because my name was Molly Tesh.
Tesh, and then I just wrote like Molly Tesh
on
Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't have my yeah.
And then I think on Progress Pure or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I started scrolling, and then I saw, and then I didn't actually watch the podcast. That's the one thing I was like, don't watch them, like it'll be bad. Bad like context for me going into a first date, because
Definitely.
then you're like have all of this like information that you can talk about. But I was like, oh, she's a serial dater and I'm actually an experiment. So when you were saying that your background was that you knew Hinge and that you'd been on it a lot, I was actually quite intimidated by that.
Yeah.
Because for me, and even for the few like dates after when we saw each other, I was like, oh, I'm definitely just an experiment. And this was like not a point of contention, but something that I talked to my close friends about. I was like, I wonder if I'm just another person that she's gonna like interview or talk about to one of her friends about or put on the pod. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure about her. Like, I didn't know whether you were in it for real.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
And that for me was like a thing that I always kind of kept in the back of my mind. But obviously things change when we progress so fast.
At what point, we'll talk about our first date in a second, but at what point into us dating did you think, oh no, I'm not an experiment anymore?
Oh, that's a good question. I think when you invited me to that really weird like country house in
Oh my god, that was so funny.
I was in Russia. I was in St. Petersburg with my friends for like a random summer in 2021.
Or actually, newsflash guys, this was an experiment and I finally got you on the podcast. We're finally doing what I always set out to do. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we'll get to the country house bit.
Okay.
Or do you want to explain the country house?
No, basically, by the time...
No, let's get there, because it's part of the story.
She's going to wake up soon, by the way.
Yeah, she will. But that's fine. It's part of the story.
No, we have to stop the recording.
Okay, so I reckon this is taking much longer than I thought it would, but I'm really enjoying it. So actually, let's only talk up to our first date, and then we'll record more.
Do you think people want to listen to this stuff?
I want to listen to it.
Okay, fine.
I think our family will find it interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, Mila could listen to it one day as well if no one else does.
Nice.
So, we decided to meet at El Pastor in King's Cross.
It was May 14th.
And originally, I had actually wanted to do a double date.
This was bad as well. I thought this was really bad. So Molly and I had decided a time and a place, both of us together.
Yes.
And then in the run-up 2 days before, she was like, hey, do you mind if my friend comes and we make this into a double date? And I was like, oh, this... like, at that point, I was like, I'm not playing games. Like, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Partially because you were my first Hinge date that I was like, kind of like preparing for.
I'm
and
really
like,
throwing you in the deep end.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, like, podcaster who's got like thousands of followers.
Yeah.
Wants to double date. It felt like you were kind of like not 100% into it, which is fair because you didn't know who I was and it could have gone completely wrong. And Janice, thank fuck.
Yeah, she cancelled.
Janice pulled out whatever guy she was going to see.
Yeah.
Actually, it would have been interesting. Had Janice come and the other guy, I don't think I would have been like myself in front of you.
I don't think we would have been able to properly connect at all.
Yeah, we'd probably do a follow-up date or something like that.
We would have definitely done a follow-up date.
Yeah.
Oh god, it makes me so sad that you said we probably would have done a follow-up date.
Well, imagine if there's like 3 people and you.
Yeah.
Because you know Janice.
Yeah.
Janice knows the partner.
Yeah.
And it would be me as like the third person. It would kind of
well,
be like
not necessarily because I didn't know this other person either.
Oh, okay, fair.
But I see what you're saying. You would be like,
basically, it could have gone completely like.
It could have gone terribly.
It could be like, oh guys, I'm going home. Something happened.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
From my perspective, I was just like living with Janice at the time. She was going on a date, and I was like, oh, why don't we just do a double date? Like maybe that would be a funny thing to do. I'd never done one, but I'm so grateful that we didn't do that. So we met on a Friday. and
It was cold. It was like May 14th and it was cold.
It was May 14th. It was cold-ish.
Still COVID. You have to do a QR code, NHS QR code.
Yeah, and we were meeting, if you guys know King's Cross, it's a really awkward area because
doesn't really have bars.
I just want to double check that this is like definitely still.
Yeah, you can see
that's cool.
I can see the windows.
Yeah, so King's Cross is a really weird area. It's like during COVID, it was really weird because if you guys remember in the summer of COVID 2021, any bar that you went to, you like had to book and it was like half capacity.
Oh yes.
And we had booked a restaurant but not a bar.
Yes.
And so I was very conscious that I don't want to be awkwardly walking around with you for like an hour.
The time before the restaurant reservation.
Yeah.
Because there aren't that many bars in that area.
No, there's like a couple of bars and I
Yeah.
knew it was a Friday and it was sunny and I knew they were going to be full.
Yeah.
So I brought a couple of like...
Oh, this was so cool.
This was like the biggest selling point for Jacob for me. Do you want
This is how you know I'm lame. So I live near King's Cross, so we had met right outside on those like big blocks.
By the train station.
By the train station. And at this
Wait,
point,
before we get into that, sorry, do you want to do first impression when we first saw each other? Before,
yeah.
Okay, so this is first impression.
And basically, I hadn't been dating a lot at the time, and I was nervous. I tried to dress well and whatever, and I remember I came early, or I was there on time, and then Molly wasn't there on time. I'm not gonna say obviously because it's mean.
Okay, but you said it anyway. Great.
She was like, anyways, it doesn't matter. So she had arrived like 15 minutes late, and I was really nervous because at the time, like 1 minute feels like a long time, but if it's your first date, it's like a very long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm very nervous. And then I saw her walking to me, and first thing I thought, obviously I thought it was very beautiful and everything, is how tall she was.
I'm not tall at all, by the way. I'm 5'6".
Yeah, she's whatever that means in European.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm so short compared to her.
I did think when I saw you, I was like, oh, he's a bit short.
You're also in your like high boots.
Because I was in my high heels, yeah.
I'm 180 centimeters. I don't know what that is in.
I think you're 5'11" or 5'10".
I'm 6 foot.
You're not 6 foot.
Well,
You're not 6 foot. You're 5'11". You're a good 5'11".
This is like millions of followers.
Yeah, I know.
You just have to say I'm 6
You
foot.
can't be too perfect.
I'm okay. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
So I was like, wow, she's really tall.
I wore like boot heels.
I just gotta say, I feel bad about saying that you were late. You actually weren't late. That was
When we
really
stopped
mean.
recording, Jacob was like, I feel really bad about saying that because I don't think you were late.
You were late.
I mean, I don't think either of us actually remember if I was late or not. So, yeah, first impressions. So, you thought I was tall, I thought you were short.
And then I saw her coming in with 2 like 1 liter Corona beers in her hand. And I was like, wow, she's bold. And I remember thinking like, that's like quite impressive to like come and, I don't know, for some reason, like the idea that like, you know, you're bringing drinks and like, it's kind of like, you look really pretty by the way.
Thank you.
You're bringing drinks and it's just like, you know, first date or whatever. And I was like, oh, she's cool. She's like, you know, bring drinks to the thing. So I thought that was awesome.
That was because of COVID and because I didn't want us
What
to
we were just saying, yeah.
I just wanted us to be able to like chill and drink.
Zero thought about that. I was just like, we'll find something.
Yeah.
And I remember we sat down right outside like the station entrance where it was kind of like the swinging chairs.
Yeah.
We started chatting there, and then from there on we had so many similarities.
Yeah, we had a lot in common.
We had a lot in common. And the other thing that really struck me were your eyes.
Yes, me too with you.
Your eyes are beautiful.
Thank you.
Obviously all the audience knows this.
Thank you. Jacob has the most incredible...
No. This is not about me. This is about
Okay,
you.
fine. Okay, I'll say my first impression of you. So I think I was late. I was in a cab. I had just left Janice's. I had the Corona and...
Beer.
The Corona beer.
Not the virus.
I had the Corona. I had the Corona beers. I had Corona beers, yeah. And I pulled up and you were sitting on this thing and I had been on so many dates that I wasn't nervous. I mean, I was always nervous before, like you just are, but I wasn't like, I didn't really...
You were used to it.
Yeah, I was used to it. I was like, okay, another one. And another one bites the dust. Let's fucking go. And I saw you, and I thought you seemed like, my first impression of you was you seemed so genuine and lovely, and you were really like attentive in the way that I felt you really engaged with me. You really like looked me in my eyes when I was speaking, and I felt like you were looking at me like trying to you were really present and like listening and trying to not figure me out, but you were like just really there.
Yeah.
Which I felt it was really nice.
Yeah, I think I probably was sussing you out a bit as well.
Yeah.
Like as you are at any point.
Yeah, can you come close to the microphone?
Yeah.
Thank you, that's better.
I was just saying I was probably sussing you out like anyone does on the first date.
Yeah, but you know, I've been on dates before where you go on dates and you're just like, oh, this person is clearly in another place or is not a good listener, but I always felt like you were a good listener with me. Yeah.
So we started chatting there. We were on a bench.
Sorry, and I thought you had the most incredible eyes as well, and the most incredible jaw and lips. Jacob has got amazing. Look at his lips. Look at his pillows.
All right. We're moving on now.
Okay.
So I remember we sat on the bench and we had a lot of things that we talked about.
Yeah.
Which were quite similar. So I think we both realized then that we both wanted to move to New York at some point.
Yeah.
And the whole podcast, I think your people know that like you wanted to move to New York very early on and stuff.
Yeah, I do talk about it, I think.
Talk about that. Very ambitious, like all of these things that like were quite similar.
Yeah.
And I think over time we kind of made our way over to like the King's Cross like basin area.
Yeah. We did, yeah. We made our way over there. Me and Jake, we just had so much to talk about, like so much in common.
Yeah.
This sounds so boring,
yeah,
probably.
It definitely is.
But Jacob
so
was No. But Jacob was a manager, and I was in a role where I was just about to become a manager potentially, and I was like fascinated that he was a manager, and we were talking a lot about people and people's behavior and how to motivate people.
Working in a corporate role and
versus a startup.
Yeah.
So we were like engaged in like really active conversation the whole time. Yeah.
And we had, because so much of the conversation was like ongoing, there wasn't any like awkward pauses or anything like that.
No, I felt very comfortable with
and
you.
We kept going, and when we went to our dinner reservation, we obviously showed our QR code to get in and stuff. I remember we sat down, and this is one of my favorite memories because it's so like stark in my mind. We sat down at a table in Plaza Pastor or El Pastor or whatever it's called. I can never get it right. And the waiter gave us the menu, and she came to us like 3 separate times.
Yeah.
Saying like, are you guys ready now?
Are you ready to order?
Are you ready now?
Can I get your order?
And we just like kept talking, and we couldn't stop talking.
We couldn't stop talking, yeah.
And we hadn't looked at the menu and anything like that. And I was like, and for me, because she had come and like kind of presented herself and said like, hello, not like, let's keep going. And I was like, oh, this is such a good sign that we're not stopping. Yeah.
To the point where, do you remember? Are you going to say that bit?
Yeah. I went to the bathroom and then you ordered shots.
No, I was going to say something else. How she said, basically, before we get...
Oh, at the end of the...
Oh, is that at the end?
Yeah, at the end of the dinner.
Just backtrack a little bit. Before we got to the restaurant, because me and Jacob were talking so intensely about, like, things that I was really finding interesting, I actually wasn't sure at that point where I was like, oh, do we fancy each other? Or...
You thought we were friends?
Well, not friends.
I thought you were hot.
No, I thought you were hot too, but I was like... I couldn't tell if you fancied me or whether we were engaged in such conversation that
I could be a friend.
We could be friends.
Oh.
Because we were getting on so well.
I wouldn't get friend zoned by you.
By you. I did think you were really good looking. Like, I thought you were hot, but I was just like, does he... I couldn't tell... Like, we weren't flirting. Like, I'm not really a flirter.
Well, that's unusual.
Jacob's like, I was flirting with you. Whilst we were talking about corporate life.
No, we weren't talking about that. We were talking about, like, family and stuff, like, where we wanted to...
Move, things we enjoy, yeah. But yeah, so as Jacob was saying... My
memory's so hazy. I'm so tired from the lack of sleep.
We're going to go to bed in 5 minutes, honestly.
With the newborn.
So, yeah, we're in the restaurant. We're getting on super well, like Jacob said, and the waitress keeps on trying to order and she can't. Jacob goes to the toilet, and while he's away, I ordered 2 tequila shots.
Oh, again, another bold move. I came back from the bathroom, I was like, wow, there are 2 shots here? And I was like, wow, she's so bold. Little did I know, did you want to get me drunk?
Yeah, I thought we were having fun.
I thought you wanted to get me drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, we were having fun, and I just thought tequila's fun.
Yeah, that for me was like, wow, she's cool. Like,
yeah, he came back and he was like, did you order these? And I was like, yeah.
I thought, because it's so unusual to do it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Give me a kiss. And so then we had the shots. Then
was it like tomato shots?
No, it was tequila.
Yeah.
They brought us free tomato ones, at the end.
That was so nasty.
And then at the very end, the waitress comes over and she says, I just want to say...
Oh, this was so cool. Another reason why I thought it was a sign.
Yeah,
At the end of the dinner.
This was a sign.
This was a sign.
She goes, I just want to say you guys are so cute.
No. She said something specific.
Sorry. What did she say?
She said, I just want to say you guys are a couple that looks very good together.
Oh.
And, first date or whatever, I'm like, wow, lots of signals and stuff happening.
Didn't she say, she was like, how long have you guys been together or something?
Yes. And then she said, how long have you guys been together?
And we were like, this is our first day. I was like, oh my God, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Then we leave. Oh, no, then the bill. Let's talk about the bill.
I just paid for it.
Well, I know, but this is like a point of contention because
Why?
as a woman, you always offer, but if you didn't pay for the bill, it would have been a really big red flag.
Of course it was.
Yeah, it would have been a big red flag.
I think it's a big red flag nowadays. Do you know what? Peter would disagree with me because he's paid for so many first date bills.
That's fair.
That he's like, fuck, no one ever offers.
Yeah, but I always offer. I think it's really important to offer with the will that I will be rejected, but you still have to do the no, let me... This is the first date, by the way. Like, I'm just saying only for the first date, I really believe that a guy should always pay. And I was like, no, let me. And you were like, no. What did you say? Something like, my mom would be so embarrassed if I let you pay. You said something like that.
Probably something like that. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, you said something like that, I think. And I was like, oh, haha. And Jacob did it in such a way that was so like, not like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry, I'll get it. Like, you were so like, stop talking. Like, I was like, let me, and you were kind of like, no. And I was like, no, and you were like, just stop.
Yeah.
Like, you just shut it down. And that was so sexy that you were just so like, no, you know?
So we were a little bit tipsy by that point. I was not tipsy.
I was drunk.
She was drunk. I couldn't tell she was drunk.
I was drunk.
Molly keeps it very chill.
I didn't realize how drunk I was
up until we went to the second bar.
So we leave the restaurant, and I just didn't want to leave you. Like, I just didn't want you for us to leave. Like, I was really enjoying being around you.
We went to that. I forgot what it's called. Like
the
Look House or something.
The Lighterman.
Lighterman. We went to the Lighterman. And I had ordered drinks.
No. So when we leave the restaurant, we were like walking to the tube, and then I didn't want to leave you, so I kind of like awkwardly looked at Jacob and I was like, should we go to another bar? And you were like, yeah, I'd love to.
I just didn't know what your vibe was.
Yeah.
So you kind of led the way.
Yeah. What do you mean you didn't know what my vibe was?
Like, if you wanted to continue the evening or not.
Yes, I wanted to. That's why I asked you.
So we went to the lighter house, and it was like...
the lighter something.
Whatever.
I guess.
We'll send the Google Maps later. And I ordered drinks. It was like this flowery drink in this like espresso glass. I remember that.
Yeah.
It comes through, and you're like, I can't have that.
You know that drunk, people listening, you know that kind of drunk where you don't know that you're drunk, and then you just take one sip of a drink, and you're like, if I drink anymore, I'm going to vomit. It was that. I was like, nope, I'm going to vomit. Yeah, you can tell. Because I'm very good at acting very sober.
Well, no, I think you were just so like happy and lovey-dovey type of thing.
Apparently I was lovey-dovey. That's new to me.
Do you know what? Everything is a little bit of like a blur now that we're married.
Really? For me, I remember it clearly.
No, it's a blur.
So basically listen to me because I'm correct.
Because it's in the sense like, it feels like we've always been together.
I know.
Our entire life. So now going back to the fresh memories of what happened is so hard to it's a hard thing to remember everything clearly.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to be looking at you, like knowing how well I know you now.
Exactly.
With that memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyways, she was like, I'm not having that, whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'll have both of them. And then she was like, I really need to go get a water. And she gets one of those glass bottles that you can kind of open with like a cap, and then it like unlocks.
It's like a carafe they use for the whole table.
And she's like walking over, and then she's kind of, and this is when I actually thought Molly is like a little bit of a, what's the person? Clumsy. And she just drops it in the middle of
I was literally holding this like big glass carafe,
boom,
and I just dropped. It wasn't even like I'm gonna drop it. It was just like I literally just like opened my hand and smashed it on the ground.
And you're like,
yeah, I was like, whoops. Yeah.
I was like, wow, she's so clumsy, but obviously in a funny way.
Because also I knocked over our beer, which is another reason why you
knocked over a beer.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize you were drunk. So anyways,
I know.
Something, we were like kept chatting, and then we ended up like deciding the night was over.
Yes, and I remember on the date something very distinctive that I haven't thought for a long time. Why I thought you liked me, ish, and then I thought maybe he's just saying that. Is when we were on our date, you were like talking about how cool the place that you work is because you have like a roof worktop drinks space. And you invited me. You were like, you should come one Friday to the terrace
Friday drinks
and have a drink. And I remember thinking like, wow, that's quite forward. Like you don't know me and you're inviting me.
I already knew that like something was good.
Yes.
So something was good.
Yeah. But I didn't. I was like, he's just another guy who's just saying.
You thought I was
stuff.
A playboy.
Yeah. Well, I thought either you're incredibly nice and genuine, or you're like a serious player, and you're like putting on this whole act.
Yeah.
So then we leave the Lighterman. We are walking to the tube. Jacob walks me to the tube because he's a real gentleman. You are.
It's kind of funny. Like, why wouldn't you walk somebody that you like to the...
It's true. To the tube. Yeah, I agree.
If you're not doing that, check yourself.
And
Damn, this is going to be a long one.
And Jacob goes like, it was so nice to meet you. You asked me to say something in Hebrew. You were like,
no.
You did. You were like, how do I say like see you next time?
Oh,
or something. Yeah, in Hebrew. And I was
that's a very that's deep cut. I can't remember that.
I know. I remember. And then we were like looking at each other, a bit drunk. And then Jacob goes,
can I kiss you?
Yeah, you said, can I kiss you?
Yeah.
And I was like, of course you can kiss me.
Not in the princess voice.
No, I was like, I think I just said yes.
Yeah. And then we just had a little make-out session, and we split our ways. I took my bike. I was biking back, and I was so happy.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, of course, I was so happy. I remember I texted my friends, because my friends, we had a group WhatsApp. And I was like, wow, guys, she's really cool.
Aww.
I made a post about it on Instagram for your birthday thing.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah.
So that's the first date. There's so many other like tidbits that happen, but that's the general gist.
That was our first date.
Yeah.
I think in the next episode we'll probably talk about the lead up to when we became boyfriend and girlfriend, and
like when I went to Russia.
Yeah, and then after that we can talk about like when we became boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, how did the relationship progress?
Yeah.
Getting engaged. Who knew this was going to be a relationship series? I thought we were going to do a whole podcast tonight on up until when we got married, but no way.
Do you think so?
There's so much information
and so many fun memories as well to talk about.
Yeah, it's true.
Even if nobody watches it, it'll be nice for our family to see this.
Yeah, to send it to them.
It's like a good memory.
Yeah. All right, let's go to bed. She's going to be awake in an hour, less than an hour.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.